Today, we're going to be learning about custom Claude skills. It's something you can build in 10 minutes. It's a single markdown file. So every time you ask Claude to do a certain task, it's already going to know your exact process, your format, and your preferences. You don't have to copy and paste. You don't have to explain over and over again. It's just going to be one prompt and it's going to run. You see, most people treat Claude like a chatbot. You type a question, you get an answer, and then you start over. But if you actually build skills, Claude can become a system, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to build one from scratch, and it's never been easier since Claude Cowork has dropped. Welcome back, my name is Zarif, and I help you build AI workflows and automations to make your lives easier, whether that's for your business or for your job. Today, we're going to be talking about something that most people don't even know exists inside Claude, and that's skills. So here's the problem. You've probably had this experience. You write a really good prompt, Claude nails the output, you're happy with it. Then next week, you need that same thing again, but you just can't find that prompt, or maybe you rewrite it from memory and the output is different. It's way worse, it's inconsistent. And the reason that is because prompts are disposable. You use them once, and after that, they're gone. Skills are the opposite. A skill is a reusable instruction that tells Claude exactly how to do a specific job. It's going to be your format, your tone, your process, and it's going to be saved permanently. And the best part, it's just a markdown file. You don't need code, no API, no developer tools. If you can write out exactly what you want, you can build a Claude skill. All right, so I've got Claude Cowork up here. This has been my main tool that I've been using ever since it came out. Obviously, in coding scenarios, I use Claude Code, but for all other scenarios, especially relating to my sales job, I'll just use Cowork. If you've used the tool before, you know that you can give Cowork access to your folders, your directory, and essentially use Cowork as a computer agent. So what I've done is I've created a fresh folder called skills, and we'll be operating out of this folder. Now, if you've built a skill before in Claude, you'll know that you'll require a markdown file, which is the set of instructions. With Cowork, we can actually avoid all of that and just prompt our way into a skill. The reason is kind of meta, but now Claude has a skill building skill. So we can tell it to build a skill for us based on a simple prompt. So when I think about manual tasks in my job, the biggest one is being able to write cold outbounding messages. It's something that is on my mind a lot, I talk about a lot, and it's something that I do weekly when I prospect for new customers. So let's go ahead and build that skill today. So I'm just going to start off with a prompt. I need your help to build me a skill for outbound cold email messages. So it's as simple as that. We can build a skill with this, but what makes a really strong skill is giving it some examples. So I'm going to use a simple one today, but I highly suggest if you want something very custom, let's say you want a 10 email outbound sequence, you would paste that in here or give it some of that context so it knows what a good output is. I'm just going to paste one in here to keep it simple. So I've pasted in an example outbound message that we'd want to solidify as a skill. Just a very simple message. You can make it more complex. And then at the bottom, I'll add in some more context and say, I'm a sales rep at NADN. So make it custom to how we can pitch automation. So obviously a very simple prompt. It's going to be a simple skill, but for example, if I do this every single week, I can now have this skill be built and I can create future emails and I can create future sequences that follows the same structure. So let's go ahead and build this. The cool thing about Claude Cowork is that I'm actually requesting quite a few things here, right? I want it to build me a skill. I want it to mimic the messages that I wanted to replicate. And then I wanted to do research on NADN or whatever product that I'm selling. Cowork is going to intelligently understand all components of it. And as you can see here, it's going to ask me some basic questions to make sure that it gets a good skill so it can be replicated over time successfully. So the first question is, what inputs will you typically provide when using this skill? Let's see, prospect name, company, industry, tech stack. So if you have a CSV, you can potentially do a detailed brief. I'm just going to say basic info only, but you'll see that it will prompt you to make sure that it understands your workflow that you're going to be replicating. So I'm going to go with basic info only. Should the skill always follow the exact template you shared, or should it be able to generate different email styles? Honestly, let's make it adaptive. What output format do you want? It would be cool to get an email plus follow-up sequence. I guess get it straight to your inbox. So you can copy and paste it. For this demo purpose, I'm just going to use plain text and chat. And you can see in a matter of a few questions, it understands exactly what you're looking to get done. Now it's going to execute against exactly what you described for your skill. If you can see right here, this is what I was referencing earlier. It's got a skill that is a skill creator. So today we're seeing an outbound skill generation, but think about your daily job. For a sales rep, you're doing outbounding, you're doing follow-ups, you might be doing summaries for leadership. You can actually turn each component of your job into a skill to speed up your workflow, especially if you're doing it repeatedly. Let's see what it came up with. It's come up with test cases, a basic prospect, more context provided, minimal input, and then it's asking me, these cover different amounts of context. No, let's just proceed with what they gave us. So it will prompt you with additional questions just to make sure it's clear. You can see that it's broken the skill building into 5 unique tasks that it needs to complete, and it's going to go through all of them to make sure that it gets you that end output, that skill that you can repeatedly use. Quick note while we wait for this to process, I'm going to be uploading the skill templates that I personally use into my free school community. The link is in the description. It's a community dedicated to helping you learn AI and automation as fast as possible. You'll have your first skill running in under 10 minutes. So go check it out. We'd love to see you there. Okay, so it looks like it is almost complete. It's done a few tests, and it says all 6 test runs are complete and graded. Is a summary with the skill 100% pass rate across 3 test cases without the skill, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's take a look at the cold emails. Okay, so it's got a benchmark. Not sure what that is, but the output, let's take a look. So you got a subject, automating the data work, slowing down your pipeline. That's pretty custom. And then, hi, James, RevOps teams spend a lot of cycles pulling data across Salesforce Slack. We work with a similar team at a high-growth SaaS company using N to automate their lead routing, opportunity sync, and sales metrics reporting. Okay, it's getting into the automation. The setup is straightforward, and it then connects your entire go-to-market stack, blah, 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 open to a quick conversation, etc. As you can see here, it closely follows the prompt. We've got the social proof right here. We work with a similar team, and we can plug in whatever company that we've worked with in the past. But in general, it's following this pattern pretty accurately. So Claude knows that we're going to be using this skill over and over again, so it wants to make sure that the output looks good. This looks good to me. So I'll X out of here and say, this looks good. Proceed with the skill. So obviously that email specifically was a bit general because it's just giving a test output. But once we have this skill built, and then once we prompt it with some specific information, let's say we're targeting Nike and we want to sell into their marketing department and we provided more context, let's say like a Gong transcript, that is going to be highly custom and it's still going to follow that format. So that's where it gets really powerful once you start to layer on elements from your job and then be able to use that template. And boom, just with a couple of prompts and answering some questions, we've got a skill that we can use repeatedly over and over again. It even tells you how you can use it effectively. So it says, just give a prospect name and company. And as an example, write a cold email to X person, title at this company, and this skill will handle the rest. Let's give it a shot and see what it outputs. Just as an example, I'm going to write a cold email to someone totally made up. So I'll say use the cold email skill to write a message to the VP of marketing at Nike. The name is John Doe. The reference customer is, let's say, Adidas. So I'll give it some additional context and let's see what the output comes back as. And it'll be a lot quicker because now we have that skill to be able to generate that message automatically. And there you go. Now we've used a skill to generate that prospecting message. We've got a solid subject that is pretty gripping. and we've related it back to a customer that we worked with before. Nike Scale, but your marketing team runs dozens of campaigns simultaneously. It's targeting that marketing specific person. Then it uses some social proof with the Adidas example that we shared here. And then we've got a call to action. Let's do a 10-minute conversation about whether this could be a good fit for Nike. So you can start to see how the skill can be used repeatedly, and we can make it more and more powerful when it comes to generating email sequences that may take way longer to actually write. So what we just built together, this is one scale, and it was a very basic scale. But where it gets really interesting is when you start to build a skill library. Imagine you have 5 skills: prospect research, call prep, email sequences, competitive analysis, and then pipeline summaries. Each one is very focused, it's very fast, and when they work together, it's a complete system, especially when it's repetitive tasks that you know you're going to be using for your job or your business. So I'm building a sales specific one. It's going to be a full scale library for my sales workflow. I'm going to have it on my school. You guys should check it out. Even if you don't work in sales, this method will work for marketing, IT, anything that you do for your business that's repetitive and manual. You build a skill once and you repeatedly call it. And once you have that library, it truly becomes a system that is geared towards saving you time so you can focus on higher level tasks. Not many people know about the skill builder within Cowork, so give it a shot. It's something that I use a lot, and I've got a giant library that I use just about every day. All right, y'all, that's the full build. It's one folder. It's going to be markdown files, and it only takes 10 minutes to be able to build a skill. So there's no excuse to get started today. Claude can then use these skills to run your task perfectly every single time. If you want to go deeper, check out my school community. The link is in the description. I appreciate you watching this video. If you like content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.